Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Texas Association for College Admissions Counseling Virtual College Fair. We want to thank you for joining us this evening. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening this evening, so please be sure to sign up for additional sessions happening after this. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at strivescan.com/Texas. Our order for this evening is going to be the University of Rochester, Syracuse University, Skidmore College, Pace University, Marymount Manhattan College, and Hofstra University. So now I'd like to turn it over to our first presenter.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dana Marchant, and I am the admission counselor that works with all of our Texas students regarding the University of Rochester. I'm actually a regionally based admission counselor, and so I live right here in the Austin, Texas area, but do work with all of our students from Texas. So I'm a fellow Texan, just like everybody else here tonight. Some information for you about the University of Rochester this evening. First off, where are we? Well, Rochester, New York is located in upstate New York. Rochester is actually the third largest city in New York State. Kind of give you some geography of a little bit more of that area. So we're only about 6 hours north of New York City. We do have an international airport right in Rochester, so it's pretty easy to get in and out of campus. When I'm flying out there to go to campus, I usually have to pick up one connector flight in either Baltimore or Chicago, then I can land right in the airport. The airport is only about 8 minutes shuttle ride or Uber ride right from the campus as well. So it's pretty easy to get from the airport right over to campus as well. Upstate New York is beautiful, green and lush, and a very cool climate. We actually have the Finger Lakes region is kind of what that area is called, because there are a lot of beautiful lakes up there as well. And yes, I will say that white stuff is going to fall from the sky during the winter time. So it's kind of a neat time to try new weather patterns versus what we have here in Texas. The University of Rochester is actually made up of 3 separate campuses. One is the River Campus. That is our main campus where our 5,500 undergraduate students live, eat, breathe, and do all of their academic work. We have about the same amount of graduate level students as well. Across the street from the River Campus is our medical center. The University of Rochester actually has a medical school, dental school, and optometry school, all located in the medical center. We have a very competitive and unique 8-year MD program where you can actually be admitted to the University of Rochester as a year, and you're going to go 8 years all the way through and go right into the medical center and graduate with your MD degree. That's called the Rochester Early Medical Scholars Program. Our third campus is actually located in downtown Rochester. That's called the Eastman School of Music. That is a world-class conservatory style music education that you'll be receiving down there should you choose that route as well. Now, a big concept with the University of Rochester is this, our motto, which is Meliora. It is a Latin phrase that when we translate it over, it means ever better. We are always trying to improve ourselves and our institution and our world to be a better place. You'll see a lot of those things with the characteristics that we talk about the institution. 3 things to know about Rochester. Number 1, we have a completely open curriculum. There is only one required class that you're ever going to have to take, and that is a primary writing requirement class. It's like English 101 basically, but even within English 101, there's about 50 different subject areas that you can choose to take from that. Other than that, you are going to build your curriculum to be what you want it to be. Yes, you'll have a major or a minor, or maybe a double major. I even met a student last week who had a quadruple major. I'm not quite sure how they're pulling that off, but we have over 200 different majors to choose from. We are very well known for our STEM fields, as well as having a very fabulous optics program. We actually have an agreement with the Department of Defense where we have a very unique laser lab on our campus. When they fire this laser up, which is about the size of 2 football fields, it actually is the hottest place in the universe as well. They're trying to create new versions of energy and fusion over there with that. Now, besides the STEM programs, we also do very well in our neuroscience programs, English programs. We have a great school of business, as well as getting many of our students set on stages in music programs around the world as well. So really, truly think of it in the concept of every class that you are taking at Rochester, you are choosing to take it because you want to, because it's involved within your major, or because you are completely choosing that. So your classmates are doing the same as well. Some other just stats and facts for you along the way. About 40% of our students will graduate with at least a double major. We do have some really great study abroad programs as well. And we still are big believers in being involved in internships and other things around the community. Now, number two thing to know about the University of Rochester is that we are a research institution. We are a tier 1 level Carnegie research institution, much like some of my friends who will also be presenting tonight. What that means is that we get a lot of government funding to make new ideas and new concepts proved out into the force. Let me just kind of tell you, we were one of the medical centers that was testing the new COVID vaccines this summertime. We were very proud to be part of that. Nearly 3/4 of our students will do research before they graduate. Now, research happens in all areas on our campus, not just in these labs that are posted up here. The third thing to know about the University of Rochester is just how cool our students truly are. 25% of our students actually come to us from international destinations. So there's this really interesting cultural mix, dynamic with socioeconomic backgrounds, with different lifestyles that everybody kind of comes together in their yellow jacket when you're on campus at Rochester. We do have Division III sports on this campus, as well as 300 different student clubs or organizations. And we do want you to live on campus for your first 2 years. And most of our students love it so much that they stay all 4 years. Now, the University of Rochester applications will be open for next year, starting in July. You can see that we have several different deadlines that you can apply by, and all those deadlines are up there. Early decision is a binding kind of offer that you can do, but we have also some really great regular decision pools. A couple other things I want you to know about Rochester, besides the REMS program, which I've already mentioned, that 8-year straight through MD program, we also have several other 5-year programs that will allow you to earn a master's degree in 5 years within all of these areas I listed here, everything from engineering all the way down into nursing. This is my contact information. As I said, I am kind of your friend from here to there when it comes to Rochester, as I'm right on the ground here in Texas along the way. We'd also encourage you, we are having a lot of virtual events this springtime to kind of see us more in action, a lot of student panels, a lot of workshops to kind of teach you about the admissions process as well. So I'd encourage you to check those out as well. Thanks again.
Thanks, Dana. Next, we're going to go to our second school, and that is Syracuse University.
Hi, everybody. My name is Andrew Weiss. I am a recent graduate of Syracuse. I graduated in May of 2017, so just over 3 years ago. While I was a student on campus, I was a triple major in finance, marketing, and Spanish. Decided I really love Syracuse, and now I'm an admissions counselor. So that's really me in a nutshell, but we're going to go just quickly over Syracuse University. So Syracuse University, similar to Rochester, we are located in upstate New York, although if you tell many people in Syracuse that, they won't like that. So most people in Syracuse say we're in central New York. We are right in the heart of New York State. We're about 4 hours from New York City, 4 hours from Boston, 5 hours from Boston, 4 hours from Philadelphia, and 4 hours from Toronto. So we are very centrally located. We also have an airport in our city, so it is very easy to navigate to Syracuse. If you're flying to Syracuse from Texas, you do have to take a connecting flight, typically through Georgia or Chicago. So it is very easy to travel to Syracuse. The airport's only about 10 minutes away from campus as well, so you could take an Uber right to campus. And once you get to Syracuse, it's very easy to see Syracuse because of the Carrier Dome. That is kind of something that makes up the landmark, the skyline of Syracuse, the city of Syracuse. As far as academics go, we do have over 200 majors and 100 minors on campus. They are split up between our 10 different schools and colleges on campus, which you can see here on this slide. Any college that has an asterisk next to it, you can apply undecided into. So when you are applying to Syracuse, you do have to apply into one of our 10 schools or colleges. And if you don't know exactly what you want to do, any college that has an asterisk next to it, you can apply undecided into, and you have until the end of your sophomore year to declare your major. We do rank fairly highly in several programs on campus, whether it be like our School of Public Communications, the Newhouse School of Public Communications, our School of Architecture are all very high-ranking programs. Syracuse excels at the hands-on experiences. So where those come in are in our academic and career advising. In each of our individual schools and colleges, we have a career services office that caters to the students in that specific college. So students are able to get their resume and their cover letters catered to the jobs that they will be applying to. Like Rochester, we are also designated as an R1 research facility. We allow students to start doing research right in their freshman year as soon as they get on campus. We also have an office known as The Source, which students could go to, and they could actually write their own grant to do research on campus and get a grant up to $5,000. We also have an entrepreneurship office on campus. So if a student wants to start their own company, that is definitely a possibility. And about 50% of our students study abroad at least once during their time at Syracuse. We have 5 centers that are Syracuse centers all around the world, as well as 100 World Partnership programs in 60 countries. So what does it mean to be orange? Well, first and foremost, Syracuse University does have a very diverse student body in many senses of the word. We have as far as racial diversity, about 26% of our students identify as a race other than white. We have students from all 50 states and 170 countries. 20% of our student population is international. We have students from all different socioeconomic backgrounds, as well as many different religions represented on campus. We have over 300 student organizations on campus. Our students are very involved, making their way into leadership positions in their organizations. We also have some fairly new facilities on campus, whether it's the Barnes Center at the Arch, which is our integrated health and wellness center, or the Shine Student Center, which you can see in the upper right-hand corner, which is our student center. It was recently just completed 2 weeks ago, so we are all very excited for that building to be completed. Now, how to apply to Syracuse University? We have one application only, and that is the common application. We only have 2 deadlines, early decision and regular decision. Early decision is binding, and that has a November 15th deadline. Regular decision has a January 1st deadline. We are a holistic review school, so that means that we are looking at everything in your application to make the decision for you. We are not just looking at test scores and GPA. We really take everything into consideration. We are test optional for 2022, so anybody that's a junior currently, you are more than welcome to submit your test score if you wish to do so. However, it is not required. We also have personal interviews on campus that will start in July, and those are available to you as well. Lastly, as far as cost of attendance goes, we offer merit scholarships to about 33% of students that are admitted to Syracuse, and about 80% of our students don't pay the full cost of attendance. If you are applying for financial aid, we do require both FAFSA and the CSS profile. So thank you very much for joining me today. I did not update my contact information on the slide, so I will send my email in the chat in just a moment, but thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrew. We're going to move on to our third school, and that is Skidmore College.
Hi, everyone. How are you? I'm Jasmine Thule. I'm one of the assistant directors of admissions here at Skidmore. I'm also class of 2018 and originally from Dallas, Texas. So very excited to be here representing. So a little bit about Skidmore College and our diverse community. So we have students, our undergraduate populations of about 2,500 students. We don't have any graduate students. So we have students coming from around 60 different countries. International students make up around 11% of our student body. About 5% of our students do identify as dual citizens, so holding passport from at least two different countries. And then we do have students representing all 50 states as well. So listed are some of the different clubs and organizations that we have, that international students, and also a couple of affinity groups that we have. The ones that aren't listed are Raíces for Latinx students and AHA, African Heritage Awareness Club as well. In terms of academics, we offer both Bachelor's of Arts and Bachelor's of Science in over 40 different majors. Some of our top majors include Management and Business, English, Psychology, Biology, and Studio Art, all within our top 5. So our students are doing a little bit of everything. In the picture below, it's a drawn up image of what our new Center of Integrated Sciences is looking like. So definitely juniors are going to be able to enjoy that since it is opening in phases. The final building will be completed by the fall of 2024, but right now certain parts are open. So students that are interested in STEM are definitely going to be able to take advantage of the new facilities. Something that is also big here at Skidmore is the fine arts, performing arts. So some of our Bachelors of Science are actually in like dance, theater, music. So kind of a little different in how we do that. And double majors are definitely a big thing here at Skidmore. Many students end up doing a double major, major minor, even triple minor if they have the time. So definitely a lot of options in terms of what you want to do. We also have self-determined majors for students that are trying to do something a little bit different than what we offer. Collaborative research is also a really big deal on campus. Because we only have undergraduate students, you are not competing with any graduate students to try to get any opportunities. And you can start doing that the second semester of your freshman year. You can easily do research with any professor. And research does not only happen in the STEM field, it can happen in any department, whether you're interested in dance, in English, business, whatever you want to do research, and you definitely can. And because we are a very small school, we have a student to faculty ratio of about 8:1, and our average class size is about 16 students. Where we're located. So we're in a small city in upstate New York called Saratoga Springs. We are known for the longest running horse track in the country. So our population, which is normally about 30,000, does triple over the summer to about 90,000, even 100,000 some summers, obviously because of the pandemic that has changed. But we are a very safe region, a really cute downtown, as you can see in the picture above. It is about a 15-minute walk from campus, so students have the option to go into town very easily, grab some coffee, enjoy some of the restaurants that we have right there, so everything is pretty close by. And in terms of, in the picture below, you can see that we're surrounded by a lot of nature. We have about 150 acres of walkable North Woods right on our campus. We're about 30 minutes away from the base of the Adirondacks. So if you're interested in hiking, skiing, all of that, it's really close by as well. And in terms of location, we are about 3 hours north of New York City and 3 hours away from Boston and Montreal as well. But in terms of the admissions process, we do accept both the Common App and the Coalition App. I will say the Common App is just more popular, but we don't have any supplemental in terms of the admissions process. So it's fairly easy to apply to Skidmore. We are SAT and ACT optional. We have been for over 5 years now. This is our 6th year being test optional, so we will definitely continue that. In terms of interest, that's something that we do look at. So different ways that you can go about that: interviews, virtual tours, information sessions, connecting you with a current student. So definitely look into some of those options. We have only 2 deadlines. So we don't have early action. We only have early decision, which is binding. So the first round of that is November 15th, and the second round is January 15th. And that is also the same day for a regular decision. We have received over 11,000 applications for the class of 2025, and we do have about a 32% acceptance rate. So over 100 students from Texas have applied this year. In terms of financial aid, we do ask for the CSS profile. That's the main thing that we need. We will also accept the FAFSA, but the CSS profile is required. About 99% of our financial aid is distributed through need-based aid, meaning that if we do accept you as a student, we do commit to meet your full demonstrated need. We do have 2 merit scholarships. One of them is for math or science, and it's called the Porter-Wackenheim Scholarship. And then the other one is for classical musicians. It's called the Violin Music Competition Scholarship. Both of these are for $15,000 a year, regardless of financial need, and you do not have to be a math, science, or music major in order to receive the scholarships. In terms of career development, about 8 out of 10 of our students do complete at least 1 internship during their time here. About those that do complete one, definitely 70% do complete at least a second one. So in terms of alumni, about 86% of our students do end up choosing jobs related to the career goals or field that they studied in Skidmore. And about 75% of our graduates do gain satisfaction from their occupation. And that is my information. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Jasmine. We're going to move on to our 4th school, and that is Pace University.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Brittany Predmore. I am the admission counselor for Pace University for Texas students. Just give me 1 second to pull up my screen here. All right. I am also an alumni of Pace myself. I graduated similar to Andrew in 2017. I played sports here on our Rochester campus, and I received my master's and Bachelor of Arts in Media Communications and Visual Media. So Pace University is a private school in New York. We actually have 2 very strategic locations that offer our students 2 very unique opportunities. The first of which, and probably our most popular, is our New York City campus. It is right where the hustle and bustle is. We are right in the heart of Manhattan and about a doorstop away from Wall Street. We also have a subway stop right outside the front door of Pace One Plaza, which is the main hub for all of our academic as well as leisure activities for students. I apologize. We also have 4 different dormitories that we offer students with great skyline views right outside your window, and you'll never get that kind of view in New York at that kind of price. So it's definitely a time to take opportunity of that. We have about 6,000 undergraduate students on our New York City campus and 3,000 graduate students on the New York City campus. We travel about an hour north up to our Westchester campus. This is also where we house our 14 Division II men and women's sports teams. It's a gorgeous, recently renovated 200-acre campus. If you're looking for the traditional college experience, this is where it's going to be. We have a variety of housing options for students on this campus as well that range from suite and semi-suite style to communal living to our townhouses offered exclusively for our higher level students. So here at PACE, we have something that we base our education and experience on. It's called the PACE Path. We ultimately want this kind of experience to be something that is all-encompassing of both your interests and pursuits as a student, and also getting you field ready for when you do graduate. So it's really taking advantage of all the opportunities that PACE has to offer you, and again, that are custom tailored to your interests. Here at PACE, we have over 150 majors and minors, as well as combined degree and graduate programs. We break them into 6 different schools. They are our College of Health Professions, our Dyson College of Arts and Sciences, our Hobbs School of Law, where we also have a 3+3 program, our Lubin School of Business, our School of Education, and Seidenberg Computer Science and IT Systems. It's pretty much very self-explanatory in terms of our colleges, and you can apply to the under these schools as you come in. Our Performing Arts School is in our Dyson College of Arts and Sciences. On both campuses, we offer an internship and career fair both semesters on both campuses, with different multitudes of employers visiting, as well as spotlight showcases, just to really maximize those opportunities for you. Most of our students only need 1 to 2 internships to graduate, but they end up having 5 to 8 by the time they graduate. So it's really exciting. We really make sure you're prepared for that real world experience. Financial aid is a huge deal, especially with everything that's gone on this past year. 95% of our students do receive financial aid, ranging anywhere from $13,000 to about $30,000. And we do guarantee your financial aid over the 4 years that you're here, as well as the 5th year if you're in a combined degree program, as long as you keep the maintenance requirements. It's typically a full-time curriculum as well as a 2.0 GPA. Our application requirements are fairly simple and probably match a lot of my colleagues. We take an application and a fee. Typically on Common App is where most of our applications come from, as well as directly through PACE. We ask for your official high school transcripts. We were test optional in 2019. We have remained test optional since, and I foresee us being test optional as we go forward. We also ask for 2 letters of recommendation and your essay or personal statement that really just showcases and highlights who you are as a student. These are just some of our deadlines. Again, we have an early decision that is binding, 2 early actions, and then school-specific deadlines. So those are really important. That would be for nursing and performing arts. If you miss those deadlines, you are not eligible for those majors. This is my general contact information. I, again, am the counselor for Texas. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me specifically. Otherwise, you're welcome to reach out to our general mailboxes, both for the city campus and our Westchester campus. Again, thank you guys for joining me, and I look forward to taking any questions.
Thanks, Brittany. We're going to go to our 5th school for the evening, and that is Marymount Manhattan College.
Hello, everyone. How y'all doing today? My name is John Versace, and I'm admissions counselor here at Marymount Manhattan College. Hope you all have a great day. So if you're not too familiar with us, we are a small school in New York City. So we are located right in the heart of New York City, right in the Upper East Side of Manhattan. Overall for our school, we are on the smaller side, nearly 1,900 undergraduate students. We are really geographically diverse. We have students coming in from all over, from 49 different states. We have students from Connecticut, more local area, but we also have students coming in from Texas, Florida, California, Massachusetts. So we really have a really great student population where students are coming from all over. It really adds to our campus community. With our small campus size, we have our average class size of about 15 students per class, and our student to faculty ratio is about 11:1. So you're definitely not going to be a number in any of your classes here. You're going to get to know your professors. They're going to want to get to know you, and they're really going to work with you throughout your 4 years here to really work on what your interests are and really help you pursue your career goals after you graduate here at Marymount. Overall, in regards to our academic programs, we have a wide variety of majors. Our 5 main areas of study are in business, communication, media arts, humanities, social sciences, the natural sciences, and the fine and performing arts. With that being said too, we offer a lot of flexibility within our academic programs. Being a small school, not only do our students know each other, but our faculty know each other really well. So we really work with our students if they have wide-ranging academic interests. You maybe have an interest in communication and also in finance. That's great. We'll work with you and work with you and get a double major and potentially in both programs. So we really offer that flexibility and work with our students in making sure that they are able to pursue their academic interest. And with that, we do take advantage of everything that New York City has to offer. We're being very much an urban campus being spread out around the New York City area. We really kind of call ourselves a New York City school, and New York City is our campus, not necessarily closed off in a specific area. With that, we offer some unique opportunities with our City Edge program. What City Edge is really implementing all that New York City has to offer in the classroom experience as much as possible. With that, we have a New York City seminar, which is a first kind of like your orientation or your kind of like your first year semester course that kind of aids you in the transition to college. And with it, we take advantage of all the New York opportunities. So we have one class that is like a history of New York class that counts as like your history general education requirement. And for that class, students get to go to different restaurants in New York City and get to hear from those owners' experiences, how they immigrated, but you also get to taste some different food in the area. We also have signature City Edge courses, which those are very much offer some hands-on experiences in the classroom. We've had students going into different court offices in New York and getting to sit in on trials and getting to talk to people that are persecuting and defending. We have really great opportunities for students to really see all the different aspects and getting the hands-on experience pretty early on in their academic career. With regards to internships, you can do up to 5 internships that count for credit, and you can start doing that as early as your sophomore year. With that, we've had students really going in any kind of industry, being in New York City. Almost any company you can think of has a location there. So we've had students doing internships for on Broadway, doing Disney, CNN, to Dr. Oz show. Really, you name it, we've probably had a student intern in that company in some shape or form. In regards to deadlines, so we have three admission deadlines. We have our early decision deadline, which is November 1st. So that's the binding agreement. If you apply to us and you're admitted, then you're automatically in. If you're early action, that's a non-binding agreement, and that one deadline is December 1st. And then for a regular decision, we are on a rolling basis. So if you apply to us after December 1st, then once you receive all the different components of your application, then we'll let you know, we'll review your application and let you know if you're admitted. Roughly, it takes about a 2-week turnaround for the regular decision students in the rolling pool once you receive everything to notify you if you're academically admitted. To kind of give you an idea of where our students are at academically, our average first year student GPA is about 3.6. Our average SAT score is an 1100, and our average ACT score is a 24. In regards to your application, we are a Common App school. That's probably where a majority of our applications come in. We do also have our own application on our website that you can apply to as well. But if you're doing the Common App like with some schools presenting today, perfectly fine with us, and it makes it probably easier for everyone. We'll be looking over your high school transcript, looking over your grades, seeing primarily your first year to your junior year. We'll see how, look at that very in-depthly if we'll consider if you took any honors, AP classes. We'll also see the trajectory of your classes too. Maybe you started off not doing that well, but by your junior year, you were doing really well in your classes. We'll definitely take that into consideration. We are a test optional school. So if you maybe didn't do the best on your SATs or were unable to take them, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to submit those scores, but if you did take them, we're more than happy to look them over. We require just one recommendation letter, typically from a teacher or guidance counselor that could best represent you as a student. And then the essay is really your opportunity to show us who you are in your own words. So really have some fun and be creative in regards to your college essay. To me, it's really, as reviewing applications, it's always my favorite part because it really offers some creativity and getting to know who you are in your writing. In regards to cost, tuition and fees here at Marymount is just about $37,000, and room and board is just about $19,000 for a total cost of $56,304 for a full-time residential student. And then we have a good amount of students that are commuting as well, and so you'll just be paying the tuition and fees. With that being said, we do encourage all students to fill out a FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid. So that's a really great opportunity for you to get some federal aid and also allow us at Marymount to see your financial situation and see if there's any additional aid that we can offer to you as well. And then in regards to scholarships, you are automatically considered for merit-based scholarships. So that's a really great opportunity for you, and you qualify anywhere from $4,000 to $18,000 a year. And then we also accept all endowed external scholarships. So if you receive any thing from your community organizations, that's perfectly fine. I'm more than happy to accept them over here. And that's basically my presentation. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions about anything, either at admissions@mm.edu or at our phone number, which is 212-517-0430. Thank you so much for listening to me today. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, John. We're going to move over to our last university this evening, and that is Hofstra University.
Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. My name is Chris Hoffman, and I am the representative for Hofstra University. I'm also an alum of Hofstra University, class of 2017, where I studied public relations, and class of 2019. For my master's, I studied marketing. So talking to you both as someone who works here and who has been on this campus in some capacity for 8 years. These are some of the things that students always ask about, looking at life at Hofstra, and some of the things that students are most excited about, including our small class sizes, the perfect kind of medium population on campus, about 6,500 students. They're looking for, a ton of different major and minor options, 165 different programs to choose from. And the other good thing that I'm always excited to share with my Texans is that we have a lot of students coming from out of state. More than half of our students come from outside the state of New York, from 48 different US states and about 78 different countries. Looking a little bit more at what life is like here at Hofstra, we have 4 years of guaranteed housing on campus. Of course, over 220 clubs and organizations. It's super easy if you don't have a club at Hofstra that fits what you're looking for. It takes a couple of buddies, a couple of signatures to get one started, and you will be up and running. Of course, we have 21 D1 sports teams. Pictured here is our men's basketball team, which right now is currently, fingers crossed, on its way to another trip to March Madness. So we are always excited to support our sports teams. But if rather than going to see a game, you'd rather spend your hours doing community service, our students account for over 100,000 hours of community service every year. So you can see that our students are getting involved. They don't just wake up, go to class, come home, study, and go to bed, but they're doing more with their time on campus, more with the resources that they have available to them at Hofstra. We have a location that I at least believe is second to none. We are located on Long Island, just outside of New York City. We are less than 10 miles to Queens, which is the most diverse place in the world. About 25 miles to Penn Station in Manhattan, which is kind of your jumping off point for your internships, your observations, job opportunities, as well as entertainment. Things like going to see tapings of The Daily Show once life is back to normal, or a slice of New York pizza, things of that nature. The other great news for those of you coming from Texas is that we have not one, but 2 convenient airports. So JFK Airport is the closest one to us. There are also a couple other New York airports, LaGuardia and Newark in New Jersey, all 3 of which have very convenient service to campus to get here for the beginning of the year, as well as, around breaks. Ultimately, I'm talking a little bit about why do students apply and then ultimately come to Hofstra. These are some of the academic reasons why students are choosing to come to Hofstra. Our School of Communication, School of Business, and School of Engineering are kind of the big 3 that I get a lot of questions about as I travel through Texas and I talk to students who know about Hofstra and they're excited about us. Those are typically the things that they're looking for. The other things that we get a lot of interest in, our 4+4 BSMD program, a direct entry med school program, where you are guaranteed a conditional acceptance into med school. Highly competitive, one of the most competitive in the nation, but if you know that you're going to be a doctor one day, that might be the program for you. Similarly, in the law school, our LEAP program, or the Legal Education Accelerated Program, is kind of a 3+3 program. And the great thing about that program is that financial aid and scholarships translate to your 4th year, and a lot of those students end up having almost all of their tuition for law school paid for. In addition, we have our direct entry PA program for those of you who want to be a physician assistant. It is a phenomenal way to get involved in the medical field. Looking at numbers here, there are kind of a lot of numbers to look at. The two that I really want to draw your attention to are the average gift aid award. That's going to be scholarships, grants, the free money we call it, and then the overall financial aid package. So this was last year's amounts, looking at about $28,000 in gift aid per year. And about $38,000 with the overall financial aid package. Now keep in mind that these are the average numbers. So if you are an above average student, there's a very good chance that you are going to receive above average scholarship. That's just going to make the cost of Hofstra that much more affordable for you, to where a lot of our students find that we end up being the cheaper option compared to even some publics out of state. Ultimately, you want to know that your tuition dollars are getting you something in return, right? We call that return on investment. And this is a number that we're incredibly proud of, knowing that we are within the top 9% nationally in mid-career salary. So that return on investment starts the day after you graduate, when 3 out of every 5 Hofstra graduates have a job lined up before they graduate, and you will continue, earning that return on investment into your career. Looking at some of the application numbers, our SAT median score is going to be right around a 1220, 1230 or so. ACT, you're looking at about a 37. We are test optional for those of you who are a little bit worried about test scores, if you're going to be able to get a test date and whatnot. Do not worry about that. We are going to continue to be test optional, as we have been for about as long as I've been at Hofstra, about 8 years now. And the average high school GPA was about a 3.7 on a 4.0 scale, looking at weighted and unweighted. Early action means it's not binding. We have 2 early action dates, November 15th and December 15th. After that, we are rolling. So if anyone has any questions, definitely drop them in the Q&A. I'll be happy to answer them. But thank you for joining us this evening, and I'm looking forward to working with many of you going forward.
Thank you, Christopher. I'd now like to invite all of our presenters to come back on. And I'm going to pose a question to them to just give some more insight on each of these 6 universities. So the question I'm going to ask first is, what is your favorite event or tradition on campus? And we can just go in the order that you guys presented in.
So at the University of Rochester, one of my favorite traditions, it's kind of just like a way of life, is that we actually have a tunnel system on our campus. So on especially cold days, if you don't want to maybe venture outside, the tunnel system, it's not dark, like gross water coming from the ceiling, but like these are lighted hallways that are kind of under the main quad of campus. And so it's pretty handy to get to any classroom without having to go outside. But it's fun because 2 of the hallways down there, the students can actually graffiti art down there. And so it's constantly changing. It's live, it's vibrant. It just feels like really fun down in the tunnel. So I think it's fun to kind of go somewhere different using the tunnel system.
At Syracuse, similar to Rochester, like Dana mentioned earlier, we get a fair amount of snow in the winter. We are actually considered one of the snowiest cities in the United States. So one of my favorite traditions to do on campus is, as a first-year student, it's a tradition for students to go to this building right here and sled down the hill that's at the foot of that building. During my first year on campus, it was very common for students to take lunch trays from the dining halls on campus, but they've gotten rid of those lunch trays for that reason. So students have found other ways to sled down that hill though.
My favorite is Earth Day and Fun Day, which happen on back-to-back weekends. I like to call them like a mini Coachella because they're really, really fun. They have like student bands playing all day. You have like bouncy castles, food trucks. On Earth Day, you have like petting zoo, and then you also have a rock climbing wall. So it's just like a really nice, fun back-to-back weekend that you relax with your friends right before finals start.
Last night I said that Week of Welcome was probably my favorite event, but I also forgot that we have midnight breakfast where students can bring a canned good, and we put on midnight breakfast usually around like finals weeks and midterms, and we just make a whole bunch of like breakfast foods, pancakes, sausage, bacon, cinnamon rolls, you name it, and you're carb loading with a bunch of your friends to fuel you for your study rush for the next 24 hours. So love that.
I would say for me, probably it's our graduation, just because we do a lot of student input into how graduation is run. So we typically have performances from our musical theater students coming in and doing something for graduation. We have a lot of our upperclassmen, like our juniors, coming in and doing special presentations for the seniors. So it's a really lot of cool environment, and we actually get to go off campus and go into Lincoln Center. So it's a really cool part of being in New York City and having that external experience as well.
I think my favorite tradition on campus slash event is during Welcome Week. The very first night, our freshman students will go to our playhouse. They have a big welcome session, a greeting with kind of the staff that they'll be working with. And one of the last things that we do to make sure that students on their very first day feel welcome and feel home is the upperclassmen, sophomores through seniors and grad students will line the walk on the way back to their dorms and kind of just cheer for them and clap for them and make them feel really welcome and home and wanted on campus. It's just really nice to see their faces as they go through the crowd and see that there's a whole group of people cheering them on.
Great, thank you all. And we have just a few minutes left, so I'm going to ask you all one last question that you can quickly answer for our students that are watching. But that question is, what advice would you give to someone going through the college search process?
So I would say, Texas, we're a little more open right now. And so a lot of our college campuses are open again for campus visits and such. I would say as much as you can. I know we're here in Texas and they're maybe not traveling the world, but, and we're all located in New York, a little bit further away. Go visit UT Austin, go take a tour of Southwestern University as a small liberal arts school, go to a religious school like University of Dallas and go take a campus tour, go walk around their campus. Then take those characteristics that you're finding at these different types of universities and apply it to our schools, kind of maybe like look at that research institution like Austin and compare that to what you might find at Syracuse or Rochester. Really, you can take these characteristics of schools as you actually are able to visit them and apply them out to all around the country. But just getting on a college campus and feeling what it feels like, I think that's number one for me.
One of the silver linings in this whole situation, I always try to find silver linings in every situation, is that we have created all these virtual resources for you to take advantage of. So make sure you're taking advantage of all those virtual resources. Maybe you've heard about a school, but you have never thought about visiting or thought about learning about them. Take that advantage. What's 30 minutes on a weekday night? They could go watch a presentation or maybe spend an hour on a weekend going to learn a little bit more about a university. So definitely look to see, and you could learn so much about so many different universities all across the country.
Definitely agree with both of those. But I always like to recommend students to, remain pretty flexible and open-minded throughout the entire college process because it's ever changing. So there's, as long as you kind of keep that open mind and with the changes throughout your senior year, going into your junior, senior year, those are definitely the main things that you kind of have to like keep in mind that, your list at the beginning is not going to be your list at the very end. So just, remain flexible.
My advice to students would be that college is obviously going to cost some kind of money, but look at it more as an investment into your future. Make sure you do your homework and that your school provides you opportunities because you want to get out as much as you're putting in. So just make your decision worth your investment.
My piece of advice is just don't be afraid to reach out. We're always here. All admission counselors and staff are always happy to reach out. We're also more than happy to connect you with maybe a professor in a program or maybe a current student in that major to really get the student experience. So even if you have something, maybe a really small question, don't be afraid to ask it. We're more than happy to help you through that process.
My answer to this question last night was pretty similar to what John just shared. I definitely recommend that. I'm going to go in the other direction now. Remember to take a step back and take a breath and have fun with this. Like, yes, you're figuring a lot of things out and there's a lot of information to digest, but you're also picking where you're going to call home for 4 years. And you should have fun with this process because it can and should be fun. So definitely try to enjoy it as much as you can, make as much fun of it as you possibly can, and just really enjoy the process as much as you can.
Well, thank you all for sharing that information with our students. Those were some really great pointers. So thank you everyone for joining us this evening. When you close out of this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We would appreciate any feedback you can provide. Also, this was just one of many sessions being hosted this evening, so please be sure to sign up for additional sessions. In about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as the recordings from the other sessions at strivescan.com/Texas. Thank you everyone and have a great night.